Alright, so, Aelina, as the fight dies down and Marrow approaches this gnoll dressed in like hides with dangling, claws and teeth and feathers and various sort of shamanistic fetishes, you look around and the golden grass swaying in the wind of this endless plains of the endless fields of the Kerrisian Plains sort of start to feel oddly familiar to you. These hills that you're standing on, and as this shaman says something to Marrow, and Marrow looks behind and says, "Oh, that one is blessed by the Hound Mother." Your vision clouds, and you're suddenly again on these golden fields, but at a different time. Let me. I think this is the easiest way to do this. Can I? Nope. Nope, that's too big of a document. Okay. So I don't just want to talk. I want you guys to, if you wish, be able. Nope, that's also. Well, Discord's fucked me, so I can't post that.
You gotta post it in parts or to get mad.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. The midday sun is oppressive as it beats down on the shadeless expanse of the Howling Steppes. The shrill whistle of wind blowing through the dry yellow grass can be heard even amongst the dull clamor of Owen's army making camp on the nearby hill. Your horse is unaffected by the heat, the faint wisps of holy golden light drifting off its body barely visible in the bright sun as it patiently waits for your next command. In the distance, another group of riders is approaching swiftly, as if the wind is carrying them along the plains. They're mostly orcs and humans, each on the back of a monstrous wolf, both mount and rider adorned with rugged armor and a variety of blades. You and your brothers, whom Owen has chosen to meet them, are likewise dressed for battle, each perched on top of a mighty stallion that Genevieve has summoned for this occasion. The first of the wolf riders, a burly orc with a clean-shaven head and intricately braided beard, pulls his mount to a halt 10 feet from your king. He eyes you all warily as his men pull into formation behind him. Hands far from weapons for now, but within easy reach. Greetings, Chief Tagar. I am Owen, Knight of the Trinity. I am grateful that you have chosen to meet with us today for the sake of Aventicuum. The chieftain lets the words linger on the wind for a moment, sparing a glance at one of his men who is wearing more ornate robes adorned with fangs and thick furs despite the heat. He waits for the shaman to give him an approving nod before responding. I am Tagar, war chief of the great clans by the blessing of the Hound Mother. Her speaker says that you are here to aid us against these monsters which threaten our people, that you and your trinity are strong. The Hound Mother is wise and speaks the truth, agrees Owen. You can see Barrett bristle at this out of the corner of your eye, but hopefully not enough for the chieftain to notice. I do not trust a man who offers help but asks nothing in return, says Tagar. What is it that you truly want? To see the enemy destroyed, says Owen, his voice firm with a holy conviction that passes through the wolf riders in a wave that you've seen countless times before. Nothing else matters, chieftain. Either we all come together to face this threat, all of the disparate peoples of the continent, or our world will be torn apart by these demons. Those are your choices. Unity or destruction. Tagar is left speechless for a moment and turns to a shaman for more guidance. The Hound Mother says to trust this one, the shaman speaks. As it is our purpose to ride with the wind and howl with the wolves, his is to destroy these demons. She says that we should lend him what strength we can spare, so that he may drive them from this land. Very well, then, says Tagar. I will trust my speaker's counsel and the wisdom of the Hound Mother. I will send my best riders to aid you in driving these demons from the steppes. I do not need only your best, says Owen firmly. I need every able-bodied warrior you have, to drive them out of not only the steppes, but the hills and forests as well, until they are gone from our lands entirely. I will not give you every fang I have to leave my people toothless while you spill my warriors' blood on fields their families have never known, snarls Tagar. I have a responsibility to my people, and I will not risk their lives for your bloodlust. "'Tis not bloodlust, but clarity and resolve," states Owen again, another wave of holy conviction pulsing from him. You can see some of the other riders waver, their trust in their chieftain flagging in the face of Owen's blessed presence. If we do not give all we have in this war, then we will have nothing after it. Tagar tries to hold his gaze, but relents, turning his wolf around as he begins to leave. An outsider will never have everything of my people, Houndmother's blessing or not, he declares over his shoulder. You can expect 10,000 wolves and riders to arrive in 5 days' time to help you fight the demons in the steppes, and that is all. His men watch him go hesitantly, sparing short glances at Owen before following the chieftain back across the plains. The last to leave is the speaker, who gives the king an apologetic nod. He does not trust how quickly your people have chosen to move on from your gods and follow this new trinity, explains the shaman. He fears that you seek to replace the Houndmother as well. She knows that the Trinity had no hand in their deaths, says Owen firmly, and that we do not have time to mourn dead gods. I know, sighs the shaman, but it makes him hard to convince. He feels that the pack is just the family, and believes he must do what is best for them. But hopefully, in time, he will see that we are all part of the same pack when it comes to this struggle. Give our thanks to the Houndmother for her support, says Asher diplomatically, and ask her to send any other help she can muster. She knows the dangers we all face. Her ears are keen and her fangs are bared, says the speaker with a smile that reveals teeth much longer and sharper than a human should have. May she bless your hunt, Eoin of the Trinity. Owen and his knights wait until the pack is well in the distance before turning to head back to their own army. Filthy pagans, spits Barrett, finally uncorking his disdain. Peace, brother, says Asher calmingly. Their faith is not the issue, but their lack of trust. The Houndmother is the last of the old gods and knows the threat we face well. She was doing what she can to aid us. If that's true, then they would join us in full, Barrett complains. Their faith is wasted. Only through the Trinity will this world know salvation. Right, my king? A soldier without faith is a sword without an edge, Eason interjects. We will win them over in time, but forcing them to abandon their goddess will not earn their loyalty. Barrett bristles at the remark, but remains silent as you all wait for your king's words. We must seek not to divide, but to unite, declares Owen. We must convince the followers of the Houndmother of the Trinity's intentions through our deeds. We will speak through our actions on the field, and they will listen to the blessings bestowed upon us. By your will, you all say as one.
Hell yeah.
And I will, for reference,
It's like an audiobook.
There we go. Alright, I added it to your notes, Aelina.
Yeah.
Man, I hate when you're reading something and you see, like, spelling and grammar errors mid-sentence. But yeah, you are consumed by that. When you come to, it is evening. Everybody else has sort of made camp around you. The gnolls are gone. The bodies of the hyenas have just melted into puddles that have just soaked into the mud of the grass and are barely visible at this point. The gnolls themselves are just flies buzzing around corpses wherever you guys, if you left them where they are, or if you moved them into a pile, or whatever you did with them. But it is evening, and Squeeb insisted that nobody move on until Aelina wakes up. He sees you sort of rouse and is like, Aelina's up, Alina's back. Hello, are you okay?
I'm all right.
Good. I mean, soup. He hands you a bowl of, you know, it's
Soup.
probably
I help.
It's
found meat.
soup. I don't know if I want to eat this. Do the Aragorn thing. Hold it in my mouth.
You break your toe? Where's the helmet?
Yes.
Ooh, yeah, that's good sound.
That was a crisp
Forgot to mute
drink.
myself.
Yeah, what a soup, am I right?
Yeah.
Tell you what. Are we like around a campfire? How are we waiting? How late is it?
That is up to you. I basically just said Aelina wakes up and it's like a few hours afterwards. However you guys decided to make camp around her, that is up to you guys.
I made a nice fire. I don't have marshmallows, but I tried to find some I made a fire. I made a fire.
Good to know. Okay.
Attempt to find the closest thing to marshmallows. I can't imagine there's anything like that though.
No. Now, let me see. Let me see how much of this I can paste while you guys talk amongst yourselves.
It was a lot more difficult than I feel like the stories maybe made it out to be. I actually
Well, I'm not sure if Aelina shared it with you guys yet.
No,
Aelina knows. Yeah.
no, not those stories. The
Oh.
ones the Green Knight told me about fighting gnolls. I'm talking about that versus these gnolls. My fight and whatever they did. I don't remember every sword stroke. You know, I'm starting to think they might be a bit embellished. Were they embellished? Could I tell?
Go ahead and make an insight check.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I have many things. My Knights Eternal were open so I could look at their pictures, and now there we go.
It's hard. You're used to having a very good memory for stories and stuff, but since coming to this world, like, a lot of things become foggy more quickly than you would expect.
The fog of the material plane. It also hurt.
How long?
How long?
Yes.
I'm not the best person to answer this, please.
I'm gonna look at Abel.
Yeah, probably like 2 or 3 hours.
Abel's dead.
Abel's dead.
I'm here.
That was the longest vision I had.
Yeah, they're usually over in a couple of minutes. At most. What was so different about this one?
Well, I think maybe not here specifically in this specific spot. I've been here before. And I will relay the vision to them.
Huh. Um,
Do you think that we could, you and Marrow could ask these gnolls to help us fight the demons?
We could try.
I have a question though.
Yeah.
So, the tribespeople you described, they were all a mix of humans and orcs, right?
Correct.
Where were the gnolls? Right, like the Hound Mother is the goddess of the gnolls, right? And like the orcs are all living in Aventicuum worshipping the Trinity. So like, what happened there?
We'll have to find the Gnoll Archbishop and go into their office and ask inconvenient theological questions about it.
Yeah, I mean,
Where did Knowles come from? They came from her, right? Like, she created them. That's what I'm asking.
I don't know.
Sounds like there was a huge falling out.
Yeah.
I do wonder who those other dead gods were. Do I remember anything in those stories about other gods?
You never even heard of a Hound Mother.
All right, so this didn't even come up. This was the real Green Knight, like, that was there, right? This isn't just some guy or person, I guess. Were they really a knight? They had to be, right? They had night gear on. That makes them a knight.
It makes them a knight, but it doesn't necessarily a knight.
They had so many stories.
That is the first time, though, that I've heard anyone else's voice other than Genevieve. Alien, that. I don't know, it feels weird. It's almost like I missed the sound of Ash. But I have never heard it in this life.
It is something that resonates in the soul. Well, if we do get spirited away to the Feywild, we can always bother the Green Knight about all of this.
I'm trying to think about what Abel would know of history. Unfortunately, he was not a very good student. Because
I will say when it comes to like the lore of the setting at this point, what you would know is what Abel would know too. Like there's if you want to ask me other questions about stuff, you can make rolls and I can, let you know based on those rolls.
Yeah.
But you don't need to I have made this so that if you personally are aware of lore, then your character at this point is probably aware of it as well.
Yeah.
With a few exceptions, like the weirdness of Thur knows more about what the Feywild is going to be than Abel does.
Right.
But as far as Aventicum goes, yeah.
Well, so the dwarf, so felt in the section on dwarf on paganism, it talks about the dwarf gods, or rather the dwarf god, the one that's remaining.
Yep.
So it talks about how there were 12 dwarven gods and only one of them survived, and that one's Felmar.
Mhm.
So then, I guess the question would be, were Carrick and um, the other one, Rithmus, were they also like part of a larger pantheon before, and then they're just the lone survivors? I'm wondering what happened there. Like, is that part of church canon?
You would know just from your noble training, because you have to deal with like, hey, the only other major non-Avency kingdoms are the Dwarven Mountains. One of which, Garandun, is right next to Bosmar. Like, it's your
Right.
closest trading partner outside of Aventicum. So you would know that it's kind of just like, yeah, the dwarves used to have 12 gods. Now the rest of them are gone, and it's just the Maker, and that's what you've been told. If you want to know, like, if you dug any deeper into that, feel free to make like a history or an insight check or whatever you feel is appropriate.
I don't think Abel would have, but I think he's definitely wondering about it now as like a corroboration with Aelina's vision of like, well, if the Maker became Felmar after the rest of his pantheon was destroyed, like, what about the other two gods of the Trinity? Like, it's a new band, right? So what was the old band like?
Maybe the dwarves have better records.
That's possible. Probably even considering.
Make me one history check just to see how much sort of clarity I can give on something like culturally. It's not high enough.
Okay. Um. So yeah, so that's a question to investigate. And then also, like, on the origins of gnolls. I'm trying to. Do we have something in the compendium about that? Fallen kingdoms, maybe the Gnoll lands. It's before the time.
I will also note, just for some additional clarification of how I set up some of the information, if you look through at the, like, I tried to write the session 0, like, Vissa's knowledge about the world as like in-universe lore.
Yeah.
So if you look in the section on paganism, you look at the Great Mother of the Knolls, and it says, like, they refer to her as the Great Mother. You at this point know that that's not true. That they don't refer to her as the Great Mother, they refer to her as the Hound Master, or as the Hound Mother. Which is
Yeah.
close, but not exact.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
I did pick up on that.
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Then why would one of the knights, though, if they were part of the old band, be so against them?
Well, they weren't against the gnolls because there weren't any in
No, one of the knights.
What?
One of the knights in the vision, like, seemed to resent the Hound Mother.
Yes, that's true.
Barrett?
Yeah, that seems very strange if they were all, like, a pantheon of 12 gods and something happened to kill a bunch of them and maybe 3
Well,
were remade or entered. It's just the hostility seems a bit strange.
well, there would have been more than 12 because the 12 were just the dwarven gods, which
Like,
we're pretty sure that. I mean, so that leaves Carrick and Rithmus unaccounted for. So there would have been at least 15, right? Because there would have been the 12 dwarven ones.
I mean, they could have all been dwarven gods. I mean, this is speculation. I don't know.
Yeah.
Dwarves could have been way more into hunting and howling at the moon and contracts.
Well, except that the Hound Mother and like Rithmus and the four gods that we know of that are still extant, being the Trinity and the Hound Mother.
It sounds like the three of them did a coup.
How fair do you think it would be for me to try and add things that Phelan would know, but I'm not sure of it out? Like, does somebody roll me a d20?
No.
Okay, nope.
So, because the dwarves have the 12 statues, 11 of which are destroyed, representing 11 gods that died. So we know that those 11 do not overlap with the 4 that we know of right now. And there's probably even more based on the conversation that stuff happened to. We don't know exactly what. Like, did each race have their own pantheon? That would be weird. How would that even work? And then obviously there must have been a falling out between the Hound Mother and the Trinity's followers? The Trinity? Because I mean, if Aelina is still a Knight Eternal serving the Trinity, and she still also has the blessing of the Hound Mother, like, the gods are not actually, at least not full enemies at this point. Probably.
Probably.
And I mean, we've got Marrow here, who's doing stuff and helping us out, who seems to be kind of related to all of this and is blessed by the Hound Mother. So, like, that doesn't feel like a coincidence.
Marrow, could you ask the Hound Mother what the gossip was back then?
No.
All right.
Mara doesn't know about that.
Marrow also hasn't spoken with a Hound Mother or knows how to do that as well. Just
Is the shaman guy is long gone at this point, right?
oh yeah, that was
Okay.
what the time skip was about.
Or the shaman girl, rather, right?
Yes, the girl, yeah.
Yeah. So we can't ask her. Well, something to talk to my sister about, because I assume that she's going to be getting a lot of this information, just absorbing
Your
it from
cousin,
my
your
cousin.
sister, your sister's in a
Shit.
different
Yeah,
place.
my sister's in a different place and having different problems. My cousin and my sister both turned into monsters, and, like, I'm just a guy doing
No,
my best. Doing
You
my
are doing your
dance.
best.
So yeah, so if I can get in touch with my cousin, maybe she'll be able to shed some more light on what the Knoll's view of history is. And maybe we can broker some peace, maybe, into the bargain? Maybe?
Hope so.
That would be pretty good, because that would be like 2 victories for the princess.
Yeah.
That'd be a pretty good political win for her. So keep that in mind. Also, still doesn't answer the question of what the thing out in the Garen Woods is. Alright, here, let me consult my notes.
I mean, it could be an angry god.
An angry god?
Yeah.
Like an angry dead god?
Well, I mean,
Oh, could be
Angry.
cool.
Angry, mostly dead gone.
That's certainly a possibility.
I mean, I would be mad if this had happened to me. It does sort of sound like. I mean, I know it's not charitable to speculate that maybe some backstabbing happened.
Balin
In the game of
remained
gods, I wouldn't put it past it.
Well, this is very interesting, but it doesn't help us get the mace.
No, it doesn't. Are we resting for the night, or are we?
I mean, we might as well.
Yeah, it's night's falling. I guess no gnolls are gonna attack us now, so that's great. But I should be. A lot of you guys are, just stopped bleeding, so probably sleep and then in the morning go.
All right.
Right?
Marrow, do you know how the gnolls would prefer to party? Could we start a howl?
I mean, you guys can ask, surely. Well, no,
I
you
try to
can't because
start.
you literally
I
can't
try to start
speak.
a howl. Yeah, I can't. I try my best though. Does anybody answer my howl, Lev? Is it
Go ahead and
silent?
make a performance check.
Yeah.
No, actually no. Dirt and scrap.
Yeah. Let's get this party going, Dirt and Scrap. Oh, wait, one thing. Dirt, I kneel down. Dirt, how do you feel about facing those gnolls, since they look so much like you? I look deep into Dirt's eyes.
Dirt just kind of cocks their head. Just-
Yes. Thinking about it still. Yes, I think spending some time to think about it is very wise. Good job, Dirt.
Dirt just goes back to eating dirt. I don't know what Dirt does in his idle animation.
Dirt is an idle animation.
Hmm.
This is a player question, because I didn't get the video to upload, so I know Aelina couldn't have watched it. Did you guys share the details of the hyena summoning stuff with her?
What, that she just like reached into the ground and pulled out a hyena and handed it a letter?
Yeah, that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if Vagabond was aware of that, is what I'm asking.
Well, I'm so sorry. I got a message about Fred's power. I did not hear about nothing.
Sir, go ahead.
Well, so we were able to convince the speaker to send a message to Bloody Hill, and she did that by just like reaching into the ground and pulling out a hyena and giving it the letter to take.
Cool.
But that's apparently she can just summon things, kind of like you and Marrow do.
Cool. Huh. This summoning squad's getting crazy. Al and I were talking about it. Everyone here's a summoner. Everyone has a pet. His joke that
Yeah.
Galahad
Yeah, go on.
is Abel's pet.
Wow.
Wow.
Galahadron has a whole mount.
I have depth.
I mean, you literally have like a fine steed. You just never summon him.
Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, I haven't found the right moment.
Yeah, that's fair. Were there any other topics people wanted to discuss before taking your long rest?
Nothing important.
No. The one person I wanted to discuss with isn't here.
No.
Call him in, wake him up, tell him he's
Get
needed.
him in here.
Just get him on a headset. Doesn't need to be on Foundry. I mean, I'm half joking. That's probably actually true.
I bet he's real tired.
Oh, almost certainly.
Yeah, between the boy getting sick and then them
got
getting
sick?
sick. Yeah, he got his first little fever.
No, that's always so scary. Even when it's not a big deal, it's scary. And even though you read that ice packs don't really do anything for a fever, my impulse is always just like, let's just put an ice pack on it. You're very hot. You put an ice pack on it.
An ice pack.
Yeah, you cool the baby down. Doesn't do anything.
Yeah, and then they got food poisoning.
Oh, well that sucks. I mean, it all sucks, but like, it's really piling on for them, huh?
Yeah. So we had the baby basically all Sunday.
Oh, so you're tired?
I am tired.
And you caught it? You're sick? You've caught it too?
I got the baby's illness.
Mm-hmm.
Either that or it's just my allergies on some crazy. Because it's like, I don't know. It's not.
It's also
like
a
a
bad
regular
flu going around for a bit. Like, I thought it was just bad allergies, and it was worse. Yeah, if you guys just want to take a long rest, you can go ahead and do that, and we will continue with the journey.
Roger that. Let me click my buttons. Do I get any cool visions of me being a knight? Of me being a knight?
Go ahead and make a wisdom save.
All right.
So yeah, you close your eyes, and it's strange. You experience something where you are the Green Knight, and you are sitting there in the vision that Aelina described, and you are. But instead of like the people turning and leaving in the middle of the meeting, a bunch of gnolls come forward and you fight them off side by side with the orc chieftain and King Eoin and all the other knights eternal and the Green Knights there too. Abel, it is hard for you to wake Galahadran up. They sleep for the full 8 hours, and you have to shake them awake.
Galahadran, wake up. It's time to go.
And then I give him a wow.
Yeah.
I don't know, whoosh.
Come on, we gotta get you into your armor, bud.
What? Whoa! A knight really just decided to leave. Aelina! I had a vision too. I was a little off to the left. Phelan's here.
That was me just giving him a long rest.
Aelina, I forgot to ask them why the god situation is weird.
Galahadran.
But I was there too.
I just realized
Yeah.
you don't worship the Trinity where you're from, yeah?
No,
In the Court of Summer?
no, I feel like it would be a little awkward.
Okay. Is there religion in the Court of Summer? Like, what does that look like?
I mean, there are definitely people that come through that are religious, but I mean, in the fealty of any
Sorry, dogs.
the fealty of the court of summer is to summer. So, I mean, there are people that visit the court. There are courtiers that I'm sure have heard and chatted with the gods, and some like them a lot. But I would say it would be. I'm not really sure anybody that I knew. I mean, like we didn't, you know, fanboy over any god or anything.
Like some kind of godless society?
The gods I think did show up sometimes for like dinners, so it's not godless. They show up, you know.
And you said you're the prince of this place, right? So your mother's the queen. We talked about this.
That's right.
And she's regularly visited by gods.
Yeah, I mean for diplomacy reasons, it's very important. I'm told. I'm very good at diplomacy. Actually, I'm very charming. That's my job. That was my job. Now I'm a knight.
Are you a god?
No.
You gotta tell me if you're a god.
I don't think
It's
so.
entrapment otherwise.
Galahad thinks about it for a bit. No.
Abel, make an insight check. As Galahadron Galahadron gives you an answer, but they have to think about it for a little bit to contemplate the question. As they're thinking about it, you are reminded of Puck's words that Galahadron being here in this mortal plane is limiting what they are to just being closer to mortal than it should be. That seemed to be the thing that he was most upset and worried about, is Galahadron being diminished, and you start to, with Galahadron casually mentioning, and you believing that they've had dinner with gods, you do start to think it's wait, what are they outside of here, back in their home, where they're not diminished?
Galahadron, I think you might be a god.
Did you just flip a coin over there?
I did. I didn't know if Abel would bring it up or not. So,
How quietly are you saying that?
I mean, we're in our tent. I'm just waking him up. Or I guess
Okay.
Aelina was here, right? Because Galahadron talked to her about the dream.
I didn't realize we were in a tent. I thought we were sleeping under the stars. You know, like in
Okay.
Baldur's Gate.
All right, so if you said that as everybody's eating breakfast, Phelan would just stop us come again?
You stole my green. I'm gonna take your thing. If you were here, this would be so funny.
I mean,
I feel like that's something Al would say.
yeah, it definitely sounded like Al. You did a good impression of him also with the come again. That's exactly how he would have phrased it. So I'll just turn to Phelan and I'll just be like, I mean, look, so I've been thinking, right? Like a society that doesn't worship gods because they are gods. That's the only way that it makes sense, right? And
I mean, the Wood Elves don't worship gods, but they're not gods, unless I was a god just by being an elf. I don't think that's real.
you follow the Trinity, right? You went to Sunday school and everything.
Yeah, but that's just some elves. The rest of them worship animals and stuff.
Yeah, but it sounds like they don't worship anything at all in the Court of Summer. Not
I
even
mean,
your,
I
your
mean,
animism stuff.
there are tenets and values of like the essence of summer.
it sounds like Puck kind of worshipped himself or the queen, but... Oh, no, this is just adding on to your argument about... Okay, just continues eating his breakfast. That's as much as I'm going to put in
Could
Could a
Phelan's mouth.
god do? Could a god do this? And Galhadron does a handstand.
Yeah, they could.
Whoa.
Go ahead and make an acrobatics check.
All right.
Yeah, you do a handstand. Phelan does too. This proves nothing.
Wow. Aelina, do a handstand. Let's see if you're a god too.
Alright, I'll roll for God. Athletics?
Okay, so
Did it.
Alina's not a god, because that wasn't a good
Ah.
handstand.
Great, Abel, you do a handstand. No.
Nope. And Mero doesn't have hands, so it's just the two of us.
All right. Yes, that makes sense. Maybe.
Okay, and now this is many words. I'm putting it. Yeah, the main crux of that, though, is that Galhadron slept for a full 8 hours, so...
That's
Well, mortality really does creep in. He doesn't know that though.
Anything else before you continue along your journey?
No.
No? Alright. So, you lost about half a day of travel with the Knoll fight and waiting for Aelina to wake up and go making camp early and such. But, Squeeb kind of points out, it's like, oh, we don't need to worry about Knolls anymore? Okay, well, we don't need to sneak anymore, so this is going to be, probably get there in about the same amount of time. That'll be good. And... Around 9 in the morning on the 19th, you guys arrive in Augsburg. Well, you arrive outside of Augsburg, looking into the city. Let's see, whose perception is decent. So if anybody wants to... Well, you guys can see this. So Augsburg, from a distance, as you approach it, looks like a city. There's no traffic in and out, like you don't see dots moving in and out of the city gates. So it looks, even from a distance, deader and quieter. But as you approach, you see that there are huge gaping holes just torn out of the walls. And buildings beyond that, just like piles of rubble, crashed or like half destroyed houses beyond that. But still rising up in the center, you can see the remnants of a castle. There are broken bits where higher stories of it probably once stood that have since crumbled and worn away, but it is still taller than all the other structures around, which to Abel would indicate that just from other cities that you have seen, the cathedrals have probably been just completely razed. If the castle's the last thing standing out above like the skyline, then there's usually at least like 3 other things, and they are not visible. You are on the outskirts. You do not see... There are no gnolls who have harassed you for any of this visit. There are no other things around. Squeeb just kind of looks at the place and is like, yep, this place sucks. And sort of looks at you guys and just waiting like, all right, Aelina, what do you want to do? Unless she's not back. I don't think so.
We should carry onward.
We wanted to leave Squeeb here, right?
I'm going with you.
Squeeb, when we get there, you cannot go in with us.
Why not?
The lady has asked us that you stay safe.
Okay.
Staying safe means staying
Stay safe
out.
with you. But I'm safer with you. Knowles agreed not to attack you. Knowles didn't agree not to attack me.
He has a point.
That is
It's fine. I'm from here. I know the city. I know where the keep is. Anywhere you need to go, I can take you. Please?
He said, please, Aelina.
What were my direct orders again?
Around Squeeb?
Yeah.
Try not to get him killed. You don't... As good of people as the Alenthe family are, they are not in the delusion that a knight or a scout is always going to return safely. It was probably Rowan just like, hey, try not to get him killed. But they also know that you like Squeeb more than they probably like Squeeb. So...
That is true. You can come, but if I tell you to hide, you hide, alright?
I'm good at hiding.
I know you are.
Okay. Where do you want to go? I will take.
Do we have
Do we get
reason to go?
any information? Yeah.
Yeah, do we have a reason to go anywhere besides the castle? I don't know that we do we? I guess we could check out where the cathedrals used to be, since it seems like they've been specifically demolished for some reason. There might be clues there.
Yeah. I can take you there. All in the center, kind of nearby. Yeah.
Okay. Shall we go to the cathedrals first? I feel like if there's something there, it'll be in the castle.
But if they hate the Trinity, if the cathedrals were specifically demolished, I don't know if there would not be a reason for them to continue to defile it. I don't know how dangerous castle versus cathedral is. I'm gonna be honest.
Beats me. I mean, we need information.
Well, why don't we scope out both, since they're both in a centralized location? What if we scope out both?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like we can scope out both at the same time.
Yeah.
And I mean, if the cathedrals are all just piles of rubble, then that kind of quickens things.
Last time Squeeb here, yes.
Is it different this time?
I haven't got in this time.
Okay. Well, let's go look.
Okay. Follow me. Stay quiet. And I'm going to need a group stealth check.
What do you mean by stealth check? I don't have one of those.
Wow, look at that castle.
So, Squeeb leads you forward very stealthily, so stealthily that you lose track of where Squeeb is. Abel, you are able to, stay relatively quiet. You're not really wearing heavy armor or anything like that. Phelan also is able to keep a bit light on their feet, make some shuffling noises. The rest of them are very loud as you guys walk, and I guess, Abel, you finally lose sight of Squeeb when you turn around to try and, like, help them not be as loud. But as you do that, you can hear sort of in the ruined streets as you pass by, various places that were probably former businesses. There's still signs up. The windows and doors are shattered. Whatever was inside was, ransacked and destroyed. Homes and houses in just similar disarray if they're still standing. But as you try and make your way through this rubble and just shift rocks and pieces of debris under your feet as you try and climb over what's left of the city, you hear rumbling stomps in the distance. And as you stop to sort of try and hear what's coming, Squeeb sort of appears again. It's like, okay, bad news. I think they found us.
What's
Alright,
the
team,
good news?
let's get ready. Inspiring leader time.
All right. Also, Marrow might want to take long rests for her dirt and scrap.
Quickly, Marrow, nap.
Take a dog nap. Okay, so what is Abel doing for inspiring leader?
We don't know what we're up against, but we've been here before. We just beat a whole pack of gnolls together. Like 100 of them. That's pretty damn impressive. Something straight out of Legends. And we're gonna do the same thing today. Let's go get whatever that thing is.
Yeah, 100 of them.
Are you... So this sort of happens while you're in probably the middle of what used to be a street, but there's like rubble and houses everywhere. Are you staying sort of there? Or are you like ducking inside the buildings? Like, what are we...
Yeah, I'm gonna have everybody take cover in a building.
Okay.
To see if we can... Maybe they'll basically get ready if they notice us for everybody to ambush them all at once. But if we can avoid a fight, then that's probably better, and we can get some more information.
Alright.
So I'm gonna give everybody the 10 hit points, which is my charisma plus my level, so 12. Yeah, 12 temporary hit points for everybody. Well, for the main characters in Squeeb. And then rush everybody into a building.
Alright. So as you sit in that building, sort of waiting for whatever's coming, you can hear it coming around the corner. It is making no attempt to be stealthy, and it is getting louder as it comes forward. And you can hear lots of heavy thumps of feet, just like large thump, thump, but arrhythmic, like not just like a walking sound, but just like almost a herd of feet just thumping on the ground. You peek out of Abel, with your higher stealth, you peek out of a window and you see around the corner a large green malformed hand like grabs the corner of a building on the second story of the building and sort of slowly starts to pull itself forward from behind it. Below at street level, you see a toe sort of stomp and step right around the corner, and then you see another set of toes, and then a third, but this one has a foot attached to it, and it's just a foot, with teeth coming out the sides, but with no mouth, just fangs at odd, sharp angles, and then a third foot, and then a small pack of not just feet, but also arms and hands with various other smaller feet and hands and arms just growing out the side at odd, cacophonous angle. These weird jumbles of severed moving limbs moving individually of them all. And as they round the corner in a pack, the arm that's gripping forward, the rest of the body comes into view, and you see this large, green, misshapen giant of some sort with large tusks and pieces of just like bulbous growths on its skin, sometimes the odd finger or eye or toe sticking out from its hide, a half-formed sort of mouth with crooked, jagged teeth sort of on the side of its belly and such, and it sniffs the air and looks towards where you guys are and gutters something in nothing even resembling language, just like some hungry beast, as it you can tell that it can see where you all are. And as it says this, the jumbles of limb, this pack of severed appendages around it, turn in the direction that it indicates and starts loping themselves at you. And we will start next session by rolling initiative.
So we look
Ooh,
friendly,
gross.
right? We're gonna solve this with words, right?
If those words are sword.
Kill it with fire, I think.
It looks like he'd be very good at handshakes. Because of all the hands.
I mean, he's got hands. They're just not growing on it. He's got hands on his body just too. He's got a bunch of others around him.
He's Rayman from the PS2.
Well, he is Rayman if Rayman was a dude and then also had like appendages around him.
Yeah, weird Rayman. This guy's definitely not on like speaking terms with the gods.